What's up, everybody? And I have.
Ricardo McBride.
And what'd you do today?
I went X2 with Vanquish Soul at the Houston Regionals.
Hey, that's what's up. How was your matchups?
Pretty good. My only losses were to Labyrinth, just because I drew kind of a weak hand, and I think that matchup's like a 50-50. If you're playing turn one, you're probably gonna win, but if you draw weak, I mean, it's like any other matchup in that respect. But I think with Labyrinth, it's kind of particular. So
Yeah.
And then my other loss was in the last round to Gold Pride Punk, where game one we got into a little bit of a grind, and I was inexperienced in that matchup, so I kind of misplayed like in a few small ways that I think would have won me the game had I been like slightly better. And then game two I got a game loss because one of my raisins was stuck to my extra deck, so I got a game loss and lost like that. Shout outs to all the people I ride with all the time. Trevor Comer, he's crazy. He's sitting right over there. That man is insane. Shout out to my buddy Sam, because he the GOAT. Like, not in anything particular, he's just a GOAT. Literally, everybody I hang with, everybody I rode with, the people who ran this event, this fucking crazy ass store. And I guess that's about it. But
Hey,
yeah.
that's what's up. Let's get into this profile.
Yeah, dog. So we'll do the main first, as it usually goes. Bandai Red Eyes, just chilling. So main deck, most of it's pretty standard. There's a few things, and I don't know if this list was perfect, but a lot of it did feel good. So 3 Raisin, you always play this. 3 Mad Love. I think for now you always play this, just because like there's a strong argument she's a 2 of, honestly, because she's kind of like the Fenrir of the deck, where if you just open it, it's not gonna, it'll roll a little bit and you'll be able to play, but it doesn't do all that much. So you kind of just have to open this guy. Then after that, it's 2 Kaiser and 2 Borger. This is 2 of because I'm playing Small World. So if you don't play Small World, you do like 3-1. But this card's also just like crazy. A lot of my matches wound up being like various control, where he was just sticking on the board, either being unaffected or popping, and it was really, really strong. This one's kind of weird. Pluton, it's there specifically because it's a fire that you can search off this guy to make his effect live, because I think you always want this to be an interruption. And his effect came up for me today, funny enough, just summoning himself when they cleared my board. And then the 1 of Pantera, which is super standard. She's like a halfway extender. Her effect was good too. She comes up. They all come up. That's the Vanquish Soul monsters. Then for the spell traps, which are your targets for Mad Love, I did 1 continue. Kind of wanted to, but I don't like the idea of drawing this card, so I only played the 1, and there was just other stuff I wanted in my deck. And then the Dust Devil, this card's broken. It's super strong against Kashtira. It's super strong going second in the boards. You would only ever play 1, but it's not like this where you could play 2, but it was really, really good. The 3 Stake Your Soul, because it's our other consistency card and an extender. I'm not going to explain this card, because I guess I will. If you don't know what it does, you reveal something in your hand with an attribute, then you special summon a Vanquish Soul from the deck with the same attribute but different name. So that's like a combo with this guy, which is why we play this. The Fenrir in the 1 Rise Heart. You play this because it lets your Fenrir get to 2 different attributes. He can either get you an Earth or he can get you a Fire. And if you have this means you're getting to your Raisin, which is like the entire thing with your deck. This also, there's like a combo I did, kinda, which I'll show when I get to another card, which kind of disrespects Nib. It's actually the other card's right here, with Regulus. So it's not actually super uncommon. And also sometimes you just draw it, but there's like a 3-card quote-unquote combo where if you draw like Stake, Fenrir, which is what you want to open all the time anyway, in my opinion, like Stake, Fenrir, and either of these, you'll
Oh, because it's a machine.
yeah, because he's a machine. Yeah, so you'll bring this out. You'll like do your normal Vanquish Soul shit basically, and you'll link this off for rock, and then you'll wind up with this left on the board, and you'll summon this next to her, and then your Xyz locked. But then you make what's his name, Merrymaker into Sargus, and then Sargus goes to get this, which on top of your board, like having a negate is just like really good. You could definitely not play it, but I didn't mind having it at all today. So that's that guy. And then for the like consistency cards, I just settled on 5 consistency cards, and people think I'm crazy for this one, but this was fucking great for me. Pot of Desires. The +1's great. I mean, the +1 was great. It always drew me into something good. The banish has never like toasted me at all. I never activated and was like, damn, I lose because I activate this. I think people should really give this a shot. I like it. I think Prosperity's horrible in this deck, but this was fantastic. In the 2 small world, probably be a 3 of, but like I never wanted to open duplicates of it, and I didn't draw a lot of hand traps today actually off Borger, which is supposed to be the whole point of Burger. All I drew was this and like my Stake Your Souls. But this card's great. Like it searches Kurikara, Kaijus, etc. Engine pieces, obviously. Yeah, it was really good. And then the 1 extra copy of Raisin. And then for the hand traps, I think I wound up being on 9. Like 9 hand traps I could draw into Borger. It was 3 Ash, which is staple in this deck because she's fire. 2 Veiler, because it's like, it's this or Mourner. But there's a few reasons why Veiler's better. It's the typical conversation with Veiler or Mourner. It sucks that this is a light attribute, so it just kind of doesn't fucking matter. But this was good for me today. I didn't regret it. Same with Ghost Bell. You play her because she's an Earth hand trap, but she's really good in the format. I mean,
I'm main decking her.
Yeah, exactly. So motherfuckers like this guy playing Math Mech, you can use it against that. All the branded decks. Runic piles, it's a little scuffed because you don't exactly want to hit their fountain, but like you can. And, you know, those are grind games anyway where you're all just getting as many cards as you can. So she was really good. And I know these are 2 ofs and it's cringe, but that's because I wanted to play these 2 imperms. And I can't say how good these were because I drew them once today. Yeah. So I guess if you really want, you could swap this to a 3rd copy of that and probably this, but I have no comment because I didn't draw them. And then these were also really good. The 1 Magna, I don't know if it's in shot. I imagine it is.
I got you.
Awesome. 1 Magna, 1 Druid Worm. It's because at one point I was playing 2 Crow, but then I thought these guys were a lot stronger. So I was like, if I'm going to swap the 2 Crow, I'll just go 1/1 so I can draw both of them. And this can also search Kaiser, which I did a few times today. It was crazy. People just weren't
Expecting it at all.
Yeah, they weren't expecting it, and then they just weren't able to beat it because this is already a +1. And you got a +1, it's really a +2 because you drop Kaiser pops, and then he stays on board another turn. It's just fucking sick. Yeah, those guys were great. And then the standard Kurikara, I think you should always play this deck at least a 1 of. It's a 1 of for me because I'm playing Small World. If you don't play Small World, maybe play 3 of this. And then I wanted this in my deck, the 1 of Tactics. I'm a big fan of 1 of Tactics in like every Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and I think this deck does really good with it. So draw 2. You know what this card does. This card's crazy. I never saw it when I went first though. But yeah, that's the main. Clean 40. I don't think you have any questions. If you do, feel free to ask. But, you know, it was a little funny looking, but it was good.
Fire.
Then the extra deck, also fairly standard. Whoop, I'm going to get that guy in a second. It was 3 rock. You have to play 3 of this. He's like your entire setup. Yeah, this card's wild. And then these came up pretty regularly. Phoenix, Nightmare, same deal. This guy conveniently points down, so these guys will always get their draw because you're never making these. Well, obviously you might, but you're pretty much never making these unless you've made this. This I never made, but I'd probably keep it because it's like for the branded decks. So you can like spin back Mirror Jade without getting completely toasted by that thing's effect. This was never summoned at all. In theory he's good, but you can just play something else over him. Then because I played Regulus, the Spriggans, and Mirror Maker. But even if you're not doing that, these are just like guys to use for Zeus, which I'm playing 1 of, obviously, because I play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the other rank 4s were Exton Knight, which I also never made today, but the threat of it's really strong. And there's a few instances where I almost went into them, but I just like had smarter lines, I guess. Baguska also didn't really come up, except like once where I like somebody I swung into somebody because they let me stick 2 level 4s, and I didn't win this game because they let me stick 2 level 4s, and I swung this, made Zeus, and that was against what's that fucking deck? For higher Runic Sprite. And I cleared his whole board. He had 1 card in hand, and we like top deck back and forth. And I drew Raisins, so when you draw Raisins, the game just ends. This, because you can actually just make it, but it's also for Kashtira. If you're playing against Kashtira, because you play Fenrir and they Shangri are on standby phase like a Shmimmy Vimmy, you can just throw this on top and probably clear their entire board.
How many times did you do it today?
I only played against one Kashtira, and I didn't do it because I broke his board with Vanquish soul cards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think I drew Fenrir in that matchup. But I did hard make this once, so because you can do that because Borger's a level 7. It just depends how much you want to like disrespect Nib, which I don't think is an invalid strategy, you know. The one big eye, because I wanted another rank 7 for the Fenrir or Ice Heart bit. Never made it once today. Like I thought it would come up, like in theory it comes up, but it just never did. So this could be something else. Like basically these 3 cards, wherever this guy is, access code, could probably be different cards, but I don't know what they would be. And then Baron, which I made a couple times today, because you do like the Kashtira thing where you
Almost summon Ash.
yeah, basically if you start with Stake Your Soul Fenrir, which is what you want, and you have like a weak or you know you have a bell or whatever, I think making this is better than holding the bell a lot of times, especially when you go first. So that's the main extra. Not things that I was unhappy with, but there was just stuff that definitely didn't come up. So if anybody's got any ideas, please put them in the comments of this video because I'm gonna read them. And then for the side, I hardly drew any of these cards. So, but in theory, they were good. TC Boo's like the best floodgate for this deck. You can play Skill Drain, because this deck also plays like funny under Skill Drain. But this is just more consistent, so I did this, but I never drew it, so it didn't matter. We'll do those later. Shifter, this deck's good under Shifter. It's a dark. But I also never drew this unless it was my 6th card or I was drawing into it off of Borger, at which point it was dead. So I can't really comment on how actually effective it was. Cosmic Cyclones and a Duster, because back row is a thing, and I think you probably should respect Labyrinth. Also can't comment on these because I drew this once against Labyrinth when I couldn't play and he won the game. So I didn't see any of these cards. These were for like the funny sprite piles. There's like a million of those that make big ass boards. Apparently he didn't play any, but I played 2. I played Runic Life Twin Sprite, which I beat. I just beat him with my engine, and I played the For Hire deck, and I only drew this once in either of those matchups, and I did not activate it, and I still won. So I don't know, but I thought it might have been good. And the rest of the side there was 2 kaijus, because these guys are like the attributes of kaijus you want. Literally won against my Pearly matchup because of this, because I small worlded into it, and then he like just did all of his noir spins to like hit my grave because he thought the grave mattered and it doesn't. Yeah, he messed up on that because they let me keep this in hand, but whatever. These guys were good. I'd play them again. And then I wound up with a 1-of left, so I just made it another copy of Kurakara.
Yeah, might as well keep it.
Yeah, pretty much. It could just be like the dark kaiju. I mean, Kurakara is crazy. Like, drawing Kurakara is crazy. So, and the only card out of this side that I drew today was, yeah, it was this. Like, as for a time when I could have actually used it, was this. And then I did not use it. I searched this off a small roll. That was the only card from the side deck I touched today, aside from siding it into my deck.
Oh.
So I can't really comment on how effective any of it was. But, hey, man, they sounded good, man.
Hey, well, it sounds like you did pretty good, 7-2. Hey, congrats on the invite. Appreciate it for the profile.
Yeah, man, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.